Welcome.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Very excited to be here.
I'm excited.
I gave a talk on street epistemology back when I was here in June, but I don't think you were able to make it, if I'm not mistaken.
Probably not.
But you showed up to the dinner after
Good.
I was on the show, and we were able to talk a little bit about street epistemology.
Yes.
Which, for people that don't know what that is, it's an approach for talking to people about their sensitive and deeply held beliefs in a way that doesn't close them down and hopefully helps you both better understand how they form the belief. It tends to work best in one-on-one environments. I'm not exactly sure how it will translate to this type of venue where I'm not able to see the person's face, for example. Right. But I've been doing it for nearly 5 years now, and I'm so excited to be able to talk to people about this subject, because I do think that this is probably one of the best ways to help a person reflect on their belief and help them think about it and possibly even revise their position on something that they may not have a good reason for holding the belief.
The few times I've seen clips with people doing this, most of the people being interviewed are smiling and laughing. It's very rare to see somebody getting upset or angry. I mean, do you run into that at all?
It does happen occasionally, and it used to happen more when I was going out for the first time and talking to people, and I was a novice. I wasn't very good at it.
Okay.
But as I became more proficient at it, the amount of people that are angry at the end is very, very low.
Okay.
And I think about 2 weeks ago, you showed a couple of examples where there was another person doing this. His channel is Cordial Curiosity, and he has example after example of people doing it. And there are other people uploading content, and generally just having these conversations, not initiating them on the street with a camera, but just having them over social media. They're just happening organically. And yes, people really enjoy it. And I brought a couple of clips to show.
Good.
Where hopefully we can convey how a typical conversation usually goes.
My understanding is that the studio has the clips queued up, so whenever you want to cue them, you just go ahead. I'm going to let you continue with your intro, and you just show the clips whenever you feel comfortable.
I wanted to just talk about one thing.
Sure.
So we've been plugging away at this for about 5 years. And 2 weeks ago, I was in Manchester, England, giving a workshop on street epistemology to there was a skeptics conference going on there.
Oh, fun.
It was great. There were about 600 people there, and about 150 decided to attend the workshop. We had to turn people away. So many people wanted to attend the workshop and learn this method. And people were attending this 50-minute workshop, learning the method, using it with people at the conference, and then reporting back their results. And it was just incredible how it's fairly easy to pick up. It does take time to practice and learn.
Sure.
But it's an incredible thing. And like I said before, I'm just excited to be able to share it with other people.
Yeah, definitely.
Should we get to a clip?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so let me set up this one clip. This was recorded probably about 2 years ago. I was standing on a trail in San Antonio, just flagging people down to see if they would chat with me with my camera. And this is a conversation with a woman who believes in God, souls, reincarnation. She's 100% sure that it's true. Typically, when I start to talk with somebody, I like to get a sense of where they are in terms of their certainty that it's true. You don't have to do that, but it's helpful to get a sense of how sure a person is. When this clip starts playing, this is near the end of the conversation where we're kind of wrapping things up. And the main reason why she thinks that all of this stuff is true is because she thinks that God helped get her through a difficult time. Okay, so let's play clip number 1, please. Is it possible that the souls and reincarnation and even the God, in the slightest possibility, could not be true?
I mean, anything could be true. Some people believe that, but I don't believe that. And it could be wrong. That's what I'm saying. You don't know. But I feel very strongly in my heart of hearts that what I believe is true. You know, having science degrees and everything else, it's you know, there's always a chance that you're wrong. You know.
Is there a chance that you're mistaken on the God belief?
I don't think so.
Is it possible?
I don't think so. I think there's something beyond. I truly, truly feel that way.
Thank you so very much.
You're welcome.
That was really enjoyable.
I guess it's not 99 or 100%, but you know, I guess there's always a short, you know, 0.0005 chance, but it's interesting.
Are you saying right now here at the end of the talk that 100% confidence is not the most representative spot on the confidence of your belief?
I don't know. That's a good question. Because now I'm thinking back to where you said, you believe 100%, and then at the end of the conversation, you don't believe. I guess, I think you're right. I guess there's always a small chance that, there's nothing. But I don't want to believe that. Does that make any sense?
May I ask why you don't want to believe it?
Because it's a sad thought for me. It just makes me sad. It makes me sad for me, it makes me sad for my children, that there's nothing that I want to believe that my soul, my energy, what animates me, what makes me who I am is going to go on in some way. I truly believe like the whole thing that energy is not created or is not, created, or I can't remember exactly what the word is.
It's neither created nor destroyed.
Yeah,
or
exactly.
Yeah.
But you go on. Somehow that life force goes on. I want to believe that for me. I want to believe that for my children.
Do the things we want to believe always mean that the belief is true?
No. No, like I said, there's maybe a small chance that that's not the case, but I think me not wanting to believe that, I just dismiss that.
What do you mean? I'm sorry.
Dismiss the possibility of that, small possibility of that.
You dismiss the small possibility that it might not be true?
Yeah, or don't think about it.
Okay. All right. So that clip was about 3 minutes, and the thing that I love most about these conversations, generally when they happen semi-organically, I initiate it, but the best talks that I have are when people are willing to honestly examine their belief, like this woman was. This conversation was very calm. It was respectful. When she was stumbling over her words on the whole energy is neither created nor destroyed, I was working with her to kind of figure that out, rather than like laugh at her and how could you believe it if you can't even verbalize it, that type of thing. And I was trying to really understand what she was saying and helping her feel comfortable where she could express her thoughts to me. I've never met her before, and it's amazing what people will disclose to you after you've just met them a few minutes into a conversation. And then the revelation there is that she wants this belief to be true. It's a sad thought to think otherwise. And like in the examples, like this example here, or the examples that you were showing a couple weeks ago with cordial curiosity, these conversations are not meant to change people instantly. Usually people need some time to think about it. It's largely about placing a pebble, giving somebody something to think about so that eventually they will address it. Some people will ignore it and never face it, and they're content with that. But a lot of people do want to believe true things. And at their own pace, if you can plant a seed, if you can plant a pebble, then they will likely go out on their own and try to figure this, or reach out to you later and say, can we meet again? Because I want to continue the conversation and that type of thing. Do you have any thoughts?
My thoughts, I think, would be like mostly pedantry. I mean, I was struck by her explanation of how it's always possible you can be wrong, and then when she's asked, is it possible that you're wrong, it was like, no.
Right. Well, that's what.
Like, wow,
that's why
okay.
I push that. I don't usually push that much, but when somebody says that anything is possible, then it would make sense that your belief is possibly not
But she was
true.
specifically saying that no matter how assured you feel, or no matter how much information you have, and no matter what supports you have, there's still that possibility you could be wrong. And then when asked, could you be wrong? Is it possible you're wrong? No. And I don't think so. So that was kind of an interesting thing to me. I agree with you that I definitely get the vibe from her that she's being honest or attempting to be honest, but that was kind of a weird little disconnect, I think, in her own head.
Yeah.
And there's, additionally, there was a comment, I'm trying to think, that you had made about, I'm losing my train of thought here, but...
Did I make it before the show?
No, you made it when you were talking about the clip. There was something about people not being able to verbalize what they believe. And I definitely think when you're trying to, like, she's trying to recall a fact in that particular instance. So she's trying to remember a quote, you know, like a phrase that she's heard. And so I never fault somebody for not being able to accurately remember a piece of information. Yeah. But when I do think that it's important for us to be able to verbalize beliefs in ways that are coherent in order for us to allow other people to allow us the idea that our beliefs make sense. So in other words, if I'm not able to express it coherently, there's no from trying to explain my belief to somebody, if I can't say it in a way that makes sense. I used an example, I don't know if it was on the show or if it was in a talk or both, but there was a time when I was saying things like, oh, I felt like my beliefs were not my beliefs. And that's a completely incoherent statement. Mm-hmm. So the onus would be on me to then delve into that experience and try to find a way to express it that's not incoherent. Yeah. I know I'm experiencing something. I know the way I'm expressing it is impossible. Mm-hmm. And so if I really want to, I can't even say that I understand it if I can't express it in a coherent way. So for me to be able to say that my belief is coherent even to myself, you know, because when I'm putting it out there and I'm expressing it, I have to acknowledge that what I've just said is logically impossible.
It's funny that you're saying this because I have a second clip that I was going to skip because it's only 30 seconds long. So I'm going to maybe put the guys on the spot.
If you think it's relevant.
I think it might be relevant because, can you guys do that or you want to go just to the second? Okay, they deleted it.
Okay, can you describe it?
I'll describe it. So basically, it's 30 seconds, so it was almost not worth showing. But since we're talking about it, we're reaching a point in the conversation where I ask her if I can summarize what I think she's just told me. Mm-hmm. And I say something like, it sounds like what you're saying is, yeah, I'm not 100% sure that it's true, but it's more comfortable for me to say that it's 100% true. And she said, yes, exactly, that's exactly. So that's why it's so important to listen very clearly and repeat back what people are saying, because I want to understand, but I also want them to hear their words coming back. And for her to hear what she's verbalized, maybe she misspoke, and this gives her an opportunity to correct it so that I can better understand her, or she hears the words that she said and she realizes how incongruent they are. So I wanted to show that clip, but like I said, it was just so short. I do have one more clip.
Sure.
And this one is 1 minute long. The talk is over, and she pretty much just sort of volunteers how much she enjoyed the talk. So I wanted to include it. And her response is typical of a conversation that I might have with somebody using SE, where they're just excited about it. And she talks about how she appreciates the open conversation. She wishes that there was more of it.
Okay.
Okay, so the second clip, please. Thank you so very much.
You're welcome.
I have a card here.
That's interesting.
And that was way more than 5.
Okay.
If you want to keep talking, I would love to keep examining this belief with you.
That's very interesting. What is this for?
I call it a hobby, but there are thousands of people that are starting to have conversations with people about all sorts of stuff. Politics, God, karma.
I think it's great.
Did you enjoy it?
I did.
Okay.
I really did.
Well, that's good. What did you like about it?
I like that, I think it's just nice to be able to, it's always nice to be listened to. And you're a great listener. So,
I appreciate that.
Yeah, and it's always just nice to be able to, sometimes people are so quick to dismiss your ideas and, because of their own ideas. And it's a breath of fresh air to just be able to say what you believe without, I don't feel like you had any condemnation or any judgment about, that's wonderful.
Okay.
I wish people would have more open conversations about things, politics,
Yeah.
religion,
Yeah.
all the biggies.
all the biggies, all the biggies. All right, so that's what I really like about it, is that she recognizes that this is a method that can be used for all sorts of beliefs, her sensitive God belief, maybe politics, the things that we don't normally like to talk about, the things that become confrontational, like Thanksgiving is coming up.
Yeah.
I know you're talking about Halloween, but Thanksgiving is coming up. And usually we avoid these conversations, but this method of street epistemology, I think, is a great way to approach these sensitive topics without destroying your Thanksgiving dinner. So yeah, I'm very excited about it. I think it's a potential solution, which it gets me so excited about, is that we don't have to skip having these talks. We can really have these talks and usually end on a good note where both people enjoy the conversation.
Well, good. Yeah. No, I think, keeping it positive, there's certainly no downside
to this method?
To keeping it positive.
Oh, yeah. I was going to say, well, there's probably some downsides, but that being said, not every conversation goes well.
Okay.
There are some people that are upset that I've even asked that if we can explore a deeply held belief, because typically what I find is that when people become irate about asking the questions, they tend to be the ones that are questioning it the most. And sometimes people generally don't even usually want to talk about the politics. They'd rather talk about their God belief because they've been burned so many times when it comes to talking about political things that they don't choose that topic. They want to talk about their God belief instead.
Well, I mean, I think probably, I guess there would be people that might not be comfortable just talking to a stranger. I don't know that they would get irate so much as, basically just be like, yeah, no, thank you.
My experience, though, is that people tend to be more open to talk to a stranger about something sensitive, especially if you can make them feel comfortable and just assure them, even though you have a camera.
Okay.
Like, hey, let's talk about this. I'm not going to be a jerk about it. I'm going to really listen to you. I can record our shoes and not your face if you want, but let's just really explore this belief. This is an opportunity to explore. And most people jump at the chance to talk about these things. It's really interesting.
Okay.
It may be cultural. This may just be a Texas thing. I don't know. It might be different if I was doing this in Finland.
Interesting. Yeah, that would be, well, you said you did it in England.
I gave a workshop on it, but I wasn't able to get out and do it on the street.
Okay.
Yeah.
All righty. But other people did it.
It doesn't have to be on the street.
Okay.
Yes, other people can do it.